Hey, Blue Table fans, Shawn here. I'm going to touch bases with you and also talk a little bit about my most recent favorite, the Harlequins. Now, there's since come out the Demonkin Army book, which I'm very interested in as well, and in fact, I've been reading up on that. Now, first off, the audio that you're hearing, this is from my laptop, and it's really not that great. And normally I record something on a separate camera and then I fuse the two in a video editor. But tonight I'm not going to do that because I just want to get this up and make sure that I've got some content going out to the fans. So, incidentally, I am currently in New Mexico, just outside of Albuquerque. I'm visiting some friends out here, and it's an extremely much needed short getaway for me. But I will be back at the studio soon, and both Steve and I are covering inquiries as usual. So if you'd like to set up a project, we are most certainly ready for that. I've had a hankering recently to really work with somebody on a large themed force, so definitely contact me if you're interested in that. Now, first off, about Harlequins, I am very determined to make this, at the very least, a fun army to play. But quite frankly, I think they have a lot of potential, which is really perhaps not being recognized right now. But we shall see, because the rubber's got to hit the road. Also, incidentally, I have a battle report with Thomas coming up this coming week, and that is bound to be a really good matchup. My Harlequins are actually already in, and as I mentioned before, I'm working with a client at the same time to get both armies going. And okay, so I just wanted to point out a few things because I was able to read my book on my little trip. And first off is Sky Weavers. Now, these guys, so you see them pictured here. So these guys are they're 50 points each. And I got to tell you, that's a lot. That is really quite expensive. So, oh man, that is so handsome. Look at how sleek that bike is. That is amazing. And I love the faces too. Okay, so, because I was thinking, what's the best defense in melee? It's that your opponent's unit is completely dead before they get a chance to even strike back. And so you've got to look at things in that context, because I, of course, have been, and you've seen this publicly, I've been absolutely smashed to bits by things like units of Centurions. Oh, and by the way, look at GW's site, how they have this little, like, whatever it is, like magnifying glass thing. I'm really not a fan of this. I'd rather just see a bigger picture of the unit. So let's get rid of that. And, okay, so anyway, so Alpha Strike units. So one thing I noticed with the Skyweavers that, and they really are quite expensive, I might add, is that there are two basic units. One is the Star Bolus, and it's a one shot, and you got to get within 12 inches, but it's a blast, and it's strength 6 AP2. And I've read some articles saying that really is the best option for these guys, and that is possibly true. If you had a unit of 6 of these. Let's see. Yeah, you can actually run them in units of up to 6. I actually don't think that's a good idea. I would definitely split them into pairs. I wish you could buy them individually like land speeders, but that would be, that'd be nice, but that's not how it's written. So anyway, so the Star Bolus, they're only one use, but if you ran up with 6 of these and blasted something with those, yeah, they would probably disappear off the face of the map. Also note that they're Eldar jet bikes, which gives them that 36-inch turbo boost, and also they get that assault move. So that's one of 3 insights I want to talk about. Is well, with the Sky Weavers, I'm about to talk about them, but also the idea that a Harlequin's army, especially if you include some other units from Codex Eldar, they effectively get another movement phase at the end of the turn. Because if everything has that assault 2d6 inches thing, then they can really shift their lines. And okay, so the Sky Weavers, they can get the Star Bolas, or they can get a Zephyr Glaive. And the Zephyr Glaive does cost 10 points, which makes an already expensive glass hammer type unit even more expensive. But, so I was looking at this, and I'm like, all right, so they have 3 attacks, they have Strength 3, and, and they get a power weapon. And so, quite frankly, that doesn't make them really that amazing. However, they also have Furious Charge, which is giving them +1 strength on the charge. And they are weapon skill 5. So all of these things add up. And lastly, the Zephyr Glaive gives them +1 strength on the turn that they charge. +1 strength and AP2. So that's really close to the Strength 6 AP2 that's just going to basically wipe out almost any type of infantry in the entire game. So if you had a unit of, say, 3 of these guys, and that's going to be weighing in at 180, so it's pretty heavily priced, but not outside the range of a single unit. When they charge in, you're going to be looking at 4 attacks each, so that's 12 attacks, weapon skill 5, and hitting with strength 5, 3 plus 1 for the glaive, plus 1 for furious charge, and so you're looking at about 8 hits. Wounding on 3-ups is you're going to be delivering right around 5 wounds. So, and that's just with 3. And so that's the question. It's something that I'm going to be testing out soon. Is can these guys really deliver the punishment so that there is no strike back because there's nothing left. Okay, the next thing is the Death Jester. So, and this is something I actually haven't seen in any of the articles that I've read. In fact, let's look this guy up here. So he weighs in at he's pretty inexpensive at 60 points, and his special power, and it's a power, not even like a weapon, and that is if he causes casualties on a unit, he can make them fall back any direction that you please. And that's just, that's just another sort of board control item that these guys have. Not only with their own maneuverability, but to be able to maneuver around other units. Now, I did read one thing in an article saying that basically they could bring a unit forward and then charge them and then just basically wipe them out. And quite frankly, I don't know how that works. I'd have to look at my rule book. But that could really be sort of a fun permutation on this guy. Okay, but what I wanted to point out is that he can take items from the Enigmas of the Black Library. And that is a 15-pointer called the Mask of Secrets. And that gives gives Fearless, and enemy models within 12 inches suffer -2 to their leadership. So with the -2 from his ability, the way I'm reading it is that's -4. And so I think that could be a very powerful item on this guy, and really, you know, just a point of synergy. Somebody needs to turn their cell phone off. That's me, by the way. That's the person that needs to turn their cell phone off. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the last thing I want to, so that was basically just 2 things I noticed while I was reading through the book. And then the last one is, of course, that is the extra movement phase. And quite frankly, because I was like, okay, what's a durable, cheap, maneuverable, fast unit that can keep up with these guys? And that, of course, is the good old Eldar jet bike, weighing in at 17 points and having the durability of a Space Marine. You can really get some post assault phase shenanigans going on there. So I can't wait to try this out because, quite frankly, I'm regularly up against some pretty tough opponents, and these guys aren't messing around, and they bring some pretty tournament level stuff. So we'll see if the Harlequins can survive and thrive. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in and being so dedicated over the years. It's been really wonderful to see Blue Table Painting grow, and here's to many, many more wonderful years. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.